Sawadee-ka, good day from Chicago. I bring you greetings from the city of Chicago here in the United States. My appreciation goes to the organizers, the members of the Payab University community, and a special kapkun ka for Professor Rey Ty. Thank you all for the privilege to participate with you here today in the 4th Annual International Conference on Religion, Culture, and Peace Education. In my experience, it has been the coming together with one another across any kind of difference which allows us to strive for peace. And this coming together comes easily when we do not complicate our thinking about one another with all of the assumptions and stereotypes and prejudices we have been taught. And I say taught because I do believe that with our spirit we know that we are all connected when we can still be in the moments to see and hear with a so-termed open mind, a mind that is unfilled, uncensored, and curious about others. So today, I wish to emphasize this point about a kind of spirit knowing that can guide our connecting toward a more peaceful life for self and with others. And I say emphasize because this notion is not originally mine. It has been shared in the world's religions, in the tenets of emancipatory education, in the many celebrations and traditions in diverse cultures, through the world's art and music. In short, it's all around us. Let me begin with a little of my story. Doesn't everyone have a story? See, I'm a child of the survivors of World War II. My father was sent to fight in the war with Russia in 1942 at age 16. Got shot several times, sustained a crippled hand and many other wounds, and survived in a prison camp. My mother survived the occupation of my hometown Berlin, Germany in 1945 at age 17 after being raped by 9 soldiers. I was born into a post-war world in 1953, and around me I saw destruction and need and bombed-out buildings, broken people, scarcity for food, fear. It took some time for life to settle into an era of seeming calm, and then came the Cold War and the Berlin Wall. So fast forward my story to my immigration to the United States of America. When I first became involved in community work here in the Chicago area, I was perplexed at what I saw, an invisible line demarcated neighborhoods into black and white. One of poverty, housing ghettos, broken people, standing around liquor stores, violence, and one in the white community where I found either fearful or hateful demeanor toward black citizens of the same city. Fast forward again to my world travels and my work in Afghanistan, China, Germany, Kenya, Mexico, Poland, the Czech Republic, Thailand, and the USA. And there I found that divisions among its people existed too, based on economic standing or educational level, tribal belonging, skin color, religions, affiliation, ethnic group, whatever made you different from self. The beliefs and needs of the people I met felt familiar. So what? What did these experiences of my story mean to me? What does this mean to us here today at the conference? See, my story, my experiences provided a lens which allowed me to tune into observing and feeling my surroundings, subconsciously at first. Increasingly over the years of my life's journey, the new experiences felt familiar, and a kind of spirit knowing nudged my mind to reflect. At first, I saw the same divisions maintained by societal norms, political meanderings, ethnocentric ideologies, and so forth. However, I also uncovered striking commonalities among all of the people I met. Look, whether that was in a little fishing island on Lake Victoria, or a river cruise in Poland, in a remote village, school in the Hindu Kush, or the bustling streets of Beijing, in a Via Crucis procession in Yucatan, Mexico, or at a Christmas market in Nuremberg, Germany, on a Native American reservations here in the United States, or in the many migrant shelters that we had in Chicago recently. these connections I felt made it clear. We have much in common. We wish for safe food and shelter, for a peaceful life without too much worry, one in which we play a meaningful role with the gifts or talents that we have and have been given, a life we can enjoy, the nature around us, and we want some smiles and laughter amidst the struggles and sorrows that we face and experience. So accepting for a moment that such commonalities holds true for all of us humans, how do we uncover the connections among us? With those who seem to threaten us, with those we have been taught to hate, or even with those who harm us. I do know we need to strive to find those answers, each for ourselves and as a human community, by, with, and for one another. I believe this essentially. We are connected as one humanity, with our diverse experiences once shared, compared, and reflected upon. We can discover commonalities, and we can open our mind to disperse the paradigmatic assumptions which lead us to fear, which leads us to greed, which leads us to hate, and within which we create mind-filled fallacies of having to fight and defend against the other. So, dear assembled here, here is a call to action. Let us ask ourselves, what is my story? What is my story, and how does it relate to the story of others? What interests or skills do I have with which I could bring people together in my community? What can I do? With my story, my attempts focus on dialogue across the many isms we have, the racism, the sexism, the ageism. Activities, art activities, poetry reading events, learning communities among educators I have met from around the world, and yes, even some writing on the theme of spirit knowing and emancipatory education. Excuse me. So those were my attempts to try to make connections with others. For me, therein lies the hope, the peace by which understanding can happen, but through my spirit and my mind. And to end my story with one more anecdote, I shared with an old man of Pashtun ethnicity in Afghanistan in a small village called Sar-e-Gogola, looking across a vastness of a field of sunflowers. I told him, those are sunflowers. And he said, we call them the flower that turns to face the sun. In that spirit, let us begin to turn toward the sun together. And please, while I'm absent in the flesh with you today, I am with you in spirit. Yet there is a time for everything under the sun, isn't there? So now, for the remaining scheduled minutes of this keynote, I encourage you to turn to one another. Reflect briefly on your story. Ask yourself, what are my talents and strengths? And then discuss your insights with the person next to you in the room. Hear their story, listen with your spirit, and discuss, what can I do? Peace be with you. Dr. G, signing off.